Welcome to the Tine Talk Podcast, sponsored by Rack Fuel, premium deer nutrition. Fuel your herd.
Holy shit, the boys are back. Just like that.
Boys are back in town.
I had to start it off hot because it's been, 5 months now?
What
Been a while.
was the date? March 12th, you said?
March
Jeez,
12th.
you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just looking at the camera. I had to delete the last one that we had on there. But yeah, what is it, August 8th today?
August 8th.
What's everyone been up to?
Typical summer stuff.
Being busy.
It's busy.
Yeah.
In the summer.
Cole's golfing. Me and Jake are playing softball.
Well, spring didn't help either. You get back from shed hunting, and I got a new job, and then a baby thrown in there, and yeah,
All
it
four
got real busy.
Yeah.
You're fucking old, dude.
All
Life
four of our
happens.
fans have been wondering about us, where we went. We fell off the earth. Two of them are in a group chat together. When are you guys going to start the pod back up? I need something to listen to at work. I was like, shit, maybe we'll have you guys on and we'll have a little get together doing that.
Shout out Quinn or what?
Yeah, shout out Quinn. Shout out PD too.
Yep.
Got to do something.
Yep.
But no, it's that time of year. It's I don't have as many cameras out as I need to have. I still think I got about 15, 20 sitting, inside when they should be out. But I've seen some giants. You've seen some giants this year with the acorn crop last fall, easy winter, wet spring. Everyone was hoping for giants, and it's looking to be pretty damn good so far from what we've seen. But like I said, there's a lot out there yet to be seen. So
Do you have
very excited.
Even half of your cameras out yet?
No,
I was going to say, you see
No,
that
and it's
picture
later
you
than
sent
normal.
the other day?
Oh,
All
yeah,
those
yeah.
Cuddy bags sitting
Yep.
on the table. I
Freaking
think I have a problem.
Fleet of them.
yeah.
How many cameras do you have for your different spots?
I think in total we're probably running 60 cameras, roughly. Which
He's
people
got
are
one on every trail.
people are out there running more cameras, but for the little bit of acreage you have to hunt, it's plenty.
A
But
little bit.
they're fun. That's the
Guys got-
struggle.
What if
They're
it was
fun
like,
and they're not fun. Everybody's been there when it's the week you have your vacation and all your cameras are doing your scouting for you, and pretty soon you're flipping through the pictures like, who am I gonna shoot, man? This this is tough. Can I find another spot? But no, it's been pretty good the last couple of years, so can't complain. But
60 cameras, dang.
you can't be
Got plenty
you
of
can't be too
acreage.
far off of that, huh?
I think we got 40 maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, you do have a problem.
You got to work on that.
He's got one for every trail, every water hole.
Yeah.
When we went to his, Rob's place that one day, we were checking out that pond, and I kept going up. I'm like, there's a camera. Oh, there's a camera. Oh, there's a camera going up. Oh, nice.
Yep.
You'll know what deer's moving around in here.
Not much gets by us. Unless we're sitting in the tree stand, then everything does. But
And those are all cuddy backs that you run?
they're cutty backs for the most part. Yeah, I threw in that 60 number. I threw in probably the 8 to 10 Tacticams I'm running too. Which
Yeah.
personally, I don't know about cutty back fans out there, but I'm a Tacticam guy from running both of them. Just they're easy to use,
Oh, there's
reliable.
so much.
Yeah.
We dipped into the
No
cutter
bullshit.
lanes too right away, and it was, I don't know, I didn't really like the home system to it, how you kind of had to have
Yeah.
centralized, and then they're just confusing, like drop down menus.
so many
inside
settings
the,
and
Yeah, and every year you gotta download a different firmware, and you need to have the chip downloaded to the camera. You need to have it erased, like all folders erased. It's really touchy that way. Which, for the average Joe trying to just get cameras set up and see who's around, I don't think it's the best.
We did try those one year or two over in Modena, and I think I only had, what do you get, that home base one and then two other ones?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like 3 other ones.
Yep. Two other
two
ones.
usually.
Yeah.
You can
And then-
kind of have as many remotes as you want
Yeah.
for a home base,
Yeah.
but
But
Then I
it
had
comes
those-
that package. Yeah.
Yep. Then I had those remote ones, and you'd put it on a separate channel or whatever to see how much service you have from the home one.
Yep.
Then you'd be like walking one way, it's like 20, 17. I'm like, fuck, I got to turn around and go the other way. I don't want to put the camera over on this side, but
We were
I
struggling.
want it to
with-
actually send pictures.
Yeah, we were struggling with service when we were running those too. With
Yeah.
like going to the home one.
And that was just on a 20-acre piece of woods, and you get one on top of the ridge and one down below, and that like central home camera, it was like, I mean, that's 20 acres, and it couldn't hardly connect to one side because it just was too far away. It's like, then you're kind of forced to put it in like a, not a bad spot, but just something that you're like, well, it's kind of in the middle. And
Was that in the summer when you did that? Or did it get better like during the fall? I've heard that they get better in the fall when the leaves come off and everything.
not really, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, vegetation makes a pretty big difference with those. But even though, I mean, for Tacticams, they're running, what's $100, $130 per camera. Cuttybacks are more, and you end up at times having to waste some in certain areas just to be a connector. Like we've got a few situations where it's like, hey, you need a camera, over here, but you're not going to reach, so you throw up a camera in a very average spot just to get over there, and then when they're running $180 a camera, it's like, you're just kind of
So
spinning
that's
your
why
wheels.
you have them on every trail.
I don't care if they, have a cheaper, cell plan or not. I do think
It's smart though. Like
Tacticams
what
are
you said,
the
it's
way
got
it
like
is.
a link together in order to get from one to another to get service like that.
And for our situation, the only reason why we went with cuttybacks in the first place is we had a few farms where it's tough service.
Yeah.
And then, with the tough service, yes, you can, with the home camera in a good spot, you can get down in your holes with all these remotes and end up being okay. But it's a lot of work and a lot of messing around for.
That's why I tried those out too, because there's a couple spots where you go up and over and you're like, well, I'm not going to get Tacticam service down there. But once I finally got a Tacticam down there, it only had one bar, but it sent pictures the whole year.
We haven't had much issues with getting service for the Tacticams, I don't think.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
There's only one spot. I've tried 2 different ones this year, and I've like put them up. I got service on top of the hill, then I like drove it down to like see if it would retain the service. Didn't do it. But another spot I tried that and it worked. So
Good.
We're definitely not getting a Cuddyback sponsorship.
Watch.
good. We got a Tacticam sitting right there anyway. That's Dustin's.
Yeah. 5
Team
years from now,
Tacticam.
we'll be wearing Tacticam.
I was talking to Cole before you guys showed up too. I got some of those XBs, and those are mint. Like you don't have to download HD at all. They're so clear.
That
It's so
daylight
nice to
picture
have.
looked really
Yeah.
That
good.
was really good.
And it's like good color and everything too. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. And you can request HD video and photo off that too, like the pro ones too.
We probably need some of those new ones.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys should sell a couple and then get the pros,
Yeah.
get some video going.
Do some swapping.
I have 4 of those from Iowa.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I brought those down there, which even talk
Not
about
the
service
brand new
down
ones,
there.
are they?
Not the 3s or whatever, but they're the 2 X's or whatever.
pros or
but-
whatever.
But even down in Iowa, I
Or
thought
whatever.
yeah. Like I thought the service would be bad for those Tacticams in Iowa,
Yeah.
but didn't have any issues down there either. And they get, I mean, you know how remote it gets, but
Oh, it's tough down there. You're in hillbilly country.
Yeah, right next to that one town that Cole hates.
Miller Oats.
That's so funny.
If you're from Miller Oats, I apologize, but
I don't even remember
I think
the
we're
name of
safe.
that town.
People live there.
I don't think it's Miller Oats, so we're good.
Do you guys run like any solar panels or lithium batteries or anything like that?
I was kind of looking into some of those solar panels, but I mean, it's $60 a piece, so
Yeah.
kind of gets up there a little bit, but it probably pays for itself.
In 2 years, you'll be paying for itself, but I don't know how well
Yeah.
they work.
Well, you still got to have batteries in order to use
Yeah.
them. But I used some of those Amazon ones last year, and I had a camera that went till April, but it would have went even more, but the cable got freaking taken out by a squirrel or something like that went in there. But yeah, I really like those solar panels. They're a little harder right now with all the leaves on the trees
Yeah.
to get retain the power or whatever, but once the leaves are off during the rut, like it's money.
I was just talking to Sam Hess about them too, and because he has one, I think, and he said, yeah, they like it runs off the batteries right away, which obviously now they're gonna. But yeah, once the leaves fall, those solar panels will keep those things kicking for a while, and then he said it gets a little tough come winter time when you see clouds for a week straight.
There's
Yeah.
only so much daylight.
But
Yeah.
The sun's
but
not very
then-
hot.
You're probably also some of your cameras. It probably doesn't really matter because they're still in the woods where everything starts to filter into
Yeah.
food
With
sources, but
With those solar panels too, you can actually hear them running. Like when you connect them, you can like put your ear up to them, and you can hear like a buzz going.
Jeez,
So you'll
tell
scared
Dustin
deer
that.
away?
You'll know if it's
That's,
working.
that's concerning. I was gonna
yeah,
say,
don't tell him that.
do the,
It's a low buzz, low frequency. The frequency waves.
maybe hides it, but you can. It's surprising, especially when the non-windy days where it's calm or at night. Even the cameras that we've all heard them that make that click. Some deer know and some deer care and some deer don't, but I don't know.
It's different. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go through a trial run. I'm not gonna put a solar panel by my best spot right now. I know
It's
that.
always the worst if you have a camera on video and you can tell like a buck just looks at it and then like backs away. It's like
That reminds me of that video of Greg Paschal sent me of my buck that I shot.
Yeah,
Literally,
Oh,
looked
really?
at
that was
it,
perfect.
turned
You
around
haven't
and
seen
ran
it?
away.
I don't know that I have.
But I had multiple videos of him, and he was like walking at the camera and like mess around. That was when he shed his velvet even.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you can get away with it in velvet season a little bit, but then once they shed, it's a whole different ball game.
Greg's video, it's on the edge of like a little cornfield, right?
Yeah.
Kind of a nice.
Kind of by a scrape or something. I
Yeah,
think.
and here he's coming into frame and sees the camera, does a double take, turns around and runs away.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I don't know if it was just a new
It's hard to-
spot and he wasn't like expecting it to be there or whatever, but
Still, you wonder, and maybe they don't give a shit when it comes to daylight the next day and they can forget about it, but when you're sitting in the tree stand and that camera's right there and it's like,
how many times do you walk somewhere and see a random light and you're like, what the?
I was
Run
gonna
out of
say
there
you
and
probably
walk
wouldn't
back
like it
there
if you
again?
see a camera in your house either.
Yeah, exactly.
it's different. Yeah. That's why it's a battle. I mean, obviously you want to know what's around. You want to know what's going by your best spots at the same time, but there's certain spots where we try to avoid it. The trails are one that we avoid a lot of times, especially. It's hard to get
They're right on top of them.
They're right on top of a trail. For one, it's hard to get a picture of a deer walking sideways because sometimes they're
Yeah.
there and gone within seconds, and you don't get a very good picture anyways. And then if you put it on the trail where they're walking into it and looking at it the whole time,
Yeah.
and it's a major trail that you have your best standby, we try to avoid that situation. But not saying it's a terrible idea, but that's what we've been doing. And
what do you guys, since it is summertime and you got, I mean, some of us got all our cameras out, some don't. What are your major tactics, or where do you like to hang your cameras in the summer to get the best pictures?
for me, it's tough now. The last couple of years, we haven't been able to use mineral in Wisconsin, so had to improvise a little bit. I've used the vines, were similar to the hemp ropes. That worked really well for me last year.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it's just trying to get them. You got to be where the deer are at. If they're coming to a hay field, coming to a bean field, stick close to those areas. Because right now in August, I haven't seen a lot of scrapes popping up. I'm sure they're going to real soon. And once they do, then obviously transition your cameras. You're going to be set up. But
Yeah, I was
it's
going to say
it's difficult right now.
I was going to say I think this is probably the period where it's kind of shitty for some pictures if you don't have the right spot. Like you get a big hay field and you're like, well, you're going to get pictures of deer sitting out 60 yards away from the camera.
You got to find the one spot they're at, and it's like
we got R2 on ponds right now, and it's like you're just kind of resorted to them having to come right to the pond. And like we don't have fall plots in, and we don't really have, I mean, we have some beans, but we just kind of stay out of there right now. So I don't know. Yeah, just kind of the bad spot, and where you get to mid-September, and then you can be like, all right, let's try to look for those scrape spots. And
Jeff Sturgis always says that's a good problem to have when you don't have them in the summer, and then you get them in the fall, which, I mean, you can't kill them in the summer anyway.
Yep.
There's those properties that summertime, and I've seen it over time, whether it's a lease or anywhere, but there's properties where in summertime you've got four different shooters, and you've got bucks all over the place, and then here comes the rut, and you got your weeks of vacation, and you can't find one. And it's not that they're dead; they moved off. And then you've got the other properties, like my grandpa's, for an example. All winter long, there won't be a deer there. All summer long, there probably won't be a buck there. But when the time is right, you're going to be in a good, pretty good position.
Yeah.
So
either way, there's a downfall. If you don't have deer in the summer, you're kind of pouting on it with no deer on camera, or You get all those bucks, but come September when that velvet comes off, you're like, shit.
Yeah.
They're going to be gone.
I'll play in the game.
I feel like you just got to have that summer cover for them, too. I mean, if you don't have summer cover for them, it means you got a good fall property, too. I feel like the big bucks don't like to be in big, thick cover this time of year because they hit their horns or whatever, and they like to be in, like, those more open, random spots that you wouldn't think they'd be in.
Some spots get more buggy than others, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Deer
Yeah,
pressure.
too.
There's so many
Little
variables.
I just saw a picture of a deer today that there was flies and ticks all over it. I'm like, that would suck so bad.
Yeah.
You just can't do
I
nothing.
look at like the set aside grass and whatnot during the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just reminds me of that
I wouldn't want to be hanging out in the set aside grass in the summertime, but come fall when it cools off a little bit,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah,
Yep.
that'd be perfect. Get some sun and still be in some good cover.
Yep.
You guys will be set up well.
That just reminds me of that buck that I saw, that John Rudd shot. That's like perfect example of what they like to bet in.
Yeah,
Like
he
it's
was
just
in
a
some
random
grass.
little island with grass all over and right by a little swamp. And he was probably chilling there all summer.
Yeah, and this time of year there's cover everywhere, so they can. Which back to our point about getting pictures, when there's cover everywhere and they can be anywhere, it's tough getting good pictures when you can't set up a bait pile like
Yeah,
you
like
can
you
when
can-
you're in Iowa or Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Or,
Especially
Debate
corn,
states.
too. I mean, this year
Yeah.
it seems like there's freaking corn in every field you drive past. But
Yeah.
no question. But so you guys haven't had any big ones showing up quite yet, even though you got a long list of who should be there, right?
yeah, we just have the
Got a long list.
3 or 4 cameras
There you
out,
go.
which
Yeah, we need to put the rest of them out here soon.
He's
It's
itching.
probably a tomorrow or Saturday job for,
Yeah.
for
we
me. 'cause
usually
I've got some.
we usually don't put ours out just because we know our property is just kind of a downer in the summer, so we kind of wait. But
Smart.
it's just like, well, mom and dad sell one in the yard, so it's like, all right, well, gets you that
Let's
little.
go find him.
So you just put them on the ponds right away and kind of hope for it. But yeah, I think you slowly realize or quickly realize you're like, all right, yeah,
We finally just got a picture of that. Pretty sure it's a 3-year-old 10. It's a
Good
nice,
3-year-old.
yeah, nice buck. But they said, like Cole was saying, they saw, Dad said it was for sure shooter in the front yard. They got a little wet spot that just stays. It's almost like a little pond in their front yard. They said they saw a nice one there, and they said they did not think that was the one we got a picture of. So there might be another one running around here close. I don't know.
Interesting.
but
It's probably up in D Lamb's photo booth.
Great spot up there.
yeah,
You guys were talking about all your trees and CRP and stuff.
Yeah.
How's that stuff panning out?
I think it's looking pretty damn good. Those trees are. I mean, this spring
Yeah.
was.
Insane.
I mean, if you ordered a bunch of trees, you had the perfect year to plant trees. I mean, it was. There was a lot of rain, and then you get those little spurts of some sun and dryness. But yeah, and even all that CRP that we planted is at least 4 feet tall, and it's starting to look a lot different out of it.
Looking like a Buck Haven out there.
How many acres of CRP do you think you got on your farm now? And what is it, 120?
110,
14,
14, not even
The
120.
CRP was probably, I don't know, because it's mixed of like grass and trees that we planted, which obviously the grass is growing up in the tree areas. So it's
yeah.
probably a total of,
It's not even 20, is
I
it?
was going to say 15 is kind of sticking out in my mind, 15
Okay.
total acres.
But it's still it's like a good chunk or two good chunks of like that tall grass, or 3 actually.
Yep.
And they're like pretty good spots where some of it's like on a south face, one of it's like in a bowl kind of. It's like it could hold some deer.
Yeah.
Should be
I mean,
enough
you
to make
see
a
those,
difference.
you see those trees facing the road you
Here's
come
some where I
down.
come down from my house. Yeah,
I mean, that side hill is,
There's some of those trees are
Loaded.
probably getting to be 7 to 8 feet right now.
Yeah.
They haven't filled out, so they're not providing a ton of cover yet, but it's coming quick.
yeah, you can definitely see them. Like a lot of the hillsides now, you look and you're like, okay, we can see trees. Even in the summertime with the grass, it's like, yeah.
When were those ones planted?
The first year that we started was 2018.
Wasn't it the second year
6
though that you
years.
went crazy on planning, where you went from 1,000 trees to maybe 2,500?
No, the first year we did
First
500.
couple years we did. No, I got a list on my phone.
Guy knows
couple
every
Got
years
tree.
documentation.
Guy's got receipts for every tree.
No,
Got
it
a
was
screenshot.
1,000, 2,000, 1,500, and then we cut back.
The very
500.
first year we did 1,000 by hand, and we're like,
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
we're
that
not
was
gonna
the
do
year I
with
that.
a little spade
That was your
thing.
I showed
Yeah,
up.
the double bars.
Yeah.
And the CRP year, that
Double
was
bar.
6,500 trees.
That was
Wow.
nuts.
Yeah.
Mostly
But that's a
pine
mixture
That's a mixture, right?
of pines, spruce, oaks, plums, crab apples.
Well, yeah, I got some
Yeah.
apple trees in there.
Yep.
Very nice.
Sure, those will be plump this year too. What's all in your guys' CRP mix? Do you know?
No
the
idea.
Specific. No.
Those black-eyed Susans, that's all I can tell you.
Oh yeah.
Flowers. Yeah. Susan.
Yep.
I've never
Something that holds
never
deer.
planted that or anything. I was curious because you hear Mark Drury talk about it all the time. Because his best spot's he's got a little food plot, and then he's got like huge, like 6-7 feet tall CRP, and out of nowhere you just see a big buck just get up and start walking to it.
Well,
how
I
many, how
saw.
many beers you got to give your dad to get him to cut down on some corn and plant some CRP?
Yikes.
It's going to be a tough conversation. I bet.
It was a tough conversation. Well, before the season started, we're like planning out our food plots. We're like, yeah, we're going to mow some corn down right here to get a plot. Because when we have corn over on that farm, it's like there's no green plots to hunt over or anything. It's just not very huntable, I guess.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, we're going to have to mow down some corn this year. And my dad is, oh, yeah, I'm totally on board with that. He didn't want to pick up the planter or whatever and make tiny little circles. But then when it came time to mow it down a couple weeks ago, he's like, you want to mow down how much? And it was like a quarter acre, maybe, something like that. I was like, oh, my God. I'll do it. You go the other side. I'll take the skid steer. And
Just
go
don't
mow
look.
it.
Don't watch. Yeah.
Yeah. But he went by it the other day. He's like, dang, I really like how that looks. I'm like, well, thank you.
Get that
the other way.
Yeah.
food plot architecture right
We
now.
did. We made over at our Pretty Boy spot, we call it, where me and you had that water hole. We mowed a little strip from there through the corn down to the newer pond into this little food plot, and I planted right through that too. And I have a camera set up on a scrape, and you can see the deer walking down and eating out of the cobs and slowly making their way in.
They're using that
gonna be
trail.
sweet,
It's not
yeah.
even like a big. What'd you use to mow it? It's like you damn near used a push mower. Like it was. It's not very wide.
It was a JCB, so it's probably
Gosh, it didn't
4
look,
feet wide, 5 feet maybe.
didn't look that wide.
Speaking of the food plot architecture, me and Cole were talking about that today. I sent him a post I saw.
Yeah.
We've never done it like that before. Like this year, we have our main plot where half of it's corn, half of it's beans, and then the back spot by the blind is a fall mix. But I saw a post. I don't know who the guy was even.
I have no idea.
Where he
Chris
said,
Brackett probably.
Nope. Some old fart.
definitely not Chris Brackett, where this guy was saying
guess.
he used to have like a big 1 or 2 acre food plot, just all the same thing, and he would have bucks come out of the woods, look at it for 20 seconds and leave, maybe do one scrape and leave. And then he was saying now he breaks it up. He said, I think he said 13 different sections with like grass. He does walls and stuff. Which I think 13 might be a little overboard.
Yeah.
But I was like, Cole, maybe we should use, and I didn't really want to do grass because I want to do corn. You can make it different every year or
Exactly.
something.
And
Where
you,
just like make walls and
Maximize your-
borders and stuff. And it seems like a good idea. He's like, they go and check every section they can't see. They'll do multiple scrapes. He's like, the guy said, he's like, I do 13 different sections in my food plot, which I don't know how big it is. And he's like, I had a video one time of a shooter buck came out and he could see him for 45 minutes.
He said
Holy
he
shit.
yeah,
I do
he like
believe
broke
that.
it down. He said on average before when it was just one plot, it was like 5 minutes a buck would spend out there, and then after it was 45.
I believe that. 100%.
And then he had some crazy
how
number
many
for
bucks?
how many different scrapes are actually in that food plot too.
Yeah.
It was like over 100 scrapes.
I believe it.
wow.
It's like,
And how many bucks don't even come to the food plot when you can sit
Yeah.
inside the woods?
Yeah.
The smart ones that want to just sit there and look over it. Okay.
yeah. No does out there to
does
chase
out
around.
there. Even
Right.
if there is a doe, she's not in heat. I don't need to go out there.
Yeah,
Until
it
it's
was
nighttime.
an interesting video. It was kind of like, oh,
yeah, me and Cole have played
Makes you
around
think,
with
yeah.
how we
Yeah.
plant like our
We've
corn
kinda-
and bean chunks.
Yeah.
Like they're always in chunks though. We've never broke it up like that. So we're
Mm-hmm.
like, we might have to try that next year.
Yeah.
Because it's like you see pictures of people doing crazy wacky
stuff.
shit with their plots.
It almost
like,
looks
all right,
like they're
you're just
doing-
trying to.
Yeah.
Like,
It looks cool, but
Who did that
What's
one
that?
that
Did it
looked
work?
like an octopus or
what's
something?
that? The without a paddle cleaver, looks cool, but
love the
relatively
cleaver.
ineffective.
Yeah. Ultimately ineffective.
That driveway food plot that we sat in last year for that, I saw that buck.
Yeah,
This year I went in, me and my dad went in there. We planted an apple tree like 20 yards away. We got that scrape tree now. And I planted the front half. I planted that in like a fall kill plot mix, and the back half's clover still. So hopefully it'll be munch around the clover and want to come up, hit the scrape, come munch on something else. That'd
Do you have any plots that are like strictly food plots that are like multiple acres, or just all small kill plots?
pretty much just small kill plots. Yeah,
in the back.
all
though,
under-
how big
under
is
an
that
acre.
one? That one's pretty big, isn't it? Or it was last year.
Enchanted
That clover
Forest?
plot.
The Enchanted Forest last year was all beans. Yeah.
Like it'd be hard to break up, obviously, small plots into sections like that. You have to have a big plot to do it, probably. But
Yeah.
you're not gonna have 4 different sections in a quarter-acre plot.
I think that guy said he had a 3.5 acre plot
So
divvied
yeah,
up
makes
into
sense, yeah.
13 sections.
Yeah.
That's
If it's-
almost takes away the plot.
Yeah.
Like
That's it.
around
Yeah.
here, anyways. It's tough to.
Yeah. Well, that Enchanted Forest back there is probably close to 2.5, 3 acres, but that's all clover, chicory, alfalfa that own the season mix. from
the whole
Rackville.
thing, the 2-3 acres.
The whole thing is,
Really?
yeah.
So you could definitely try it there then.
Yeah.
The only thing like you could do with grass is get a perennial and then not have to worry about it. Like it'll just keep coming back your wall. But then like
Yeah.
if you did in corn, you can just do whatever you want year after year. And
I like the idea.
And it's a
of doing it
late
with
season
corn.
food source,
Yeah.
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would rather do it with corn myself. I
Corn
think.
makes more sense to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to feed a lot of deer in a small area and hold deer. You've got
That's-
to have.
Well, it's like
It's food and a screen at the
you
same
could
time.
go through
Yeah.
and plant whatever you have in there and then just drive your corn planter right through it instead of having your grass and then freaking working around some little triangle and octagons and whatnot
Yeah.
to plant your crap in. And
corn's the ticket, I think.
Yeah. Like I said, good late season food source, too. I don't like hunting over, like, standing corn, though, when it's, like, just all standing.
Yeah.
Because you can't mow anything down in Wisconsin either. So the
Yeah,
combine's either got to go through there and combine and leave some, or how are you going to shoot a deer in standing corn?
Yeah.
yeah.
Walking through a trail
Yeah.
through the woods to get there? I don't know.
It's yeah.
But last year with all of our standing beans that we had, I think this year I'm going to go maybe as soon as they harvest the corn, I'm going to go in and spread a lot of rye. And hopefully if we have another,
Takes off quick. It's such
Yeah.
an easy seed to grow. I
you
feel
get
like.
Yeah.
one good rain and it comes back in the spring. Like if we don't have any really cold weather like we didn't have last year, maybe that's the ticket for sheds too.
Yeah.
Because we didn't find any sheds barely last year.
Watch out for
You guys
that,
had a tough
that
year?
rye in your tiller the next,
Yeah.
next summer.
Yeah.
You do have
Make
to
sure to-
get to it early.
Make sure to spray it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because otherwise it gets so thick and
Yeah.
the roots to it get deep.
Yeah.
You had a tough year then shed hunting last year. Your crew
Big time. Yeah.
mostly because they weren't slaves to the food plots, or you didn't have enough food. What do you think was the biggest?
More than likely, we still had a lot of deer sign around, but I think they were just a little more spread out this year because there's more of like a food source that they wanted to hit. And
Well, it's
I guess
just-
we cut a bunch of trees down too, so we're munching in the timber on.
Just harder to
Well,
find.
and it
browse.
just wasn't a winter. I mean, it.
No, it
Yeah, they can
literally
just
wasn't.
do whatever they wanted in the woods and find whatever they want to eat. I mean,
It's November for 4 months.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
probably didn't even really group up, did they? When it's no snow at all.
Was there snow at Christmas this year?
No, I don't think so. Was
we
it?
only had that one little period with like a couple weeks of that cold spell
January.
and snow because that's when we had like Wemby and Merino and that 10 move in.
Damn.
And it was like, oh, yeah, freaking shed season. And then all of a sudden it all melted and back
Shed
to
season. Here we go.
freaking 60. And it was like, all right.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I don't think. And then even then, like, they didn't hardly hit our corn and beans. And you should see those coming up in the plots just from
Yeah.
having to
Gone
get
here.
rid of it.
Yeah.
So it just sits on the ground. And
And it
then
came
it
up
basically
nice.
like frost seeds itself.
Yeah. Well,
It
it's
was, it was almost
Yeah.
depressing.
volunteer
Like,
corn.
Yeah.
It was depressing. Like from last year, our beans grew so good in our big plot, and there was a shit ton of beans that just didn't get touched because they didn't like go to that
Yeah.
in the winter. It was crazy.
Well,
When
because
your-
think
when
of
your
the
target bucks
hayfields.
put on 40, 30 inches this year, he'll be happy. It'll make
Yeah.
sense. Let's hope
I
that
guess so.
happens. I don't know.
I'll
Yeah.
give up not finding sheds if we get a giant like that who ate good all year.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
it's
weird.
been
They can
wet.
do.
Like we've had a wet spring, but we've had a wet summer too, even,
Super.
It's been-
oh, yeah.
which is
It's
insane.
been a pretty mild summer. We
Compared to
just
last year?
had our hottest
Week.
little spell,
Yeah,
but
and it
like,
never touched 100. I mean, every
High
year,
80s.
every year we see 100 degrees. I mean,
it was
for, even
almost
for a
like
short time, sure, but it
yeah,
was,
and it was
it's,
almost like high 70s has been all summer besides this last couple weeks.
yeah. And
Same
of course,
amount of
it's the
rain.
hottest time of the year. It's the dog days of August, and now, yeah, today, August 8th, we're sitting at 74 for a high, no humidity.
Tomorrow's
in
a
the air.
high of 68.
Felt
It's
like gonna feel like
gorgeous.
September.
It's gorgeous.
I
It's
feel like
good.
opening morning.
This
gonna make
morning,
me get out and shoot my bow.
this
No
morning
doubt.
leaving for work, I was like, oh, geez, it feels like football and hunting season right
Yeah.
now.
It's like I should be taking off in a week.
That
I
gets you
another
going right there.
Damn it! I got another 2 months.
So you guys, did you plant beans this year too?
Yep.
You gonna do anything? You're gonna go frost seed, not frost seed, but just go overseed with any greens with them too.
No, not through the beans and corn, just because there's so much after seeing like what it did last year. There's
it's
just so
so-
much. So we're gonna go through with our winter peas and then give it a few weeks and then go through with some oats or rye.
I just
into
went.
that.
Was that last night I mowed?
Yep.
Yeah, last night I just went and mowed a little bit of the corn and beans.
How old are you, Jake? You don't remember what you did yesterday?
Busy, dude. Busy.
Busy.
Busy doing whitetail work.
How old are you? Do you remember that?
Nope, don't.
You
35
ask-
maybe.
You ask an old guy.
Just
I don't know how
mowed
many
some.
times my grandma's like, geez, I don't know how old. Am I 68 or 69? I'm not sure.
Jeez.
I'm sure. I don't even know if I'm. Yeah, I shouldn't. I can't talk, so I know
you
where I
don't.
get it from.
What were you saying, Jake?
Yeah.
I went and mowed the corn and beans down for our back winter pea and clover section, but I don't remember where I was going with it
You
after
guys
that.
love those winter peas.
Dude,
Don't remember.
Yeah.
Winter pea magnet.
freaking hard to remember the interruptions.
Yeah, my mistake.
No, dude, we had one really good year with winter peas, and I don't know, maybe
Hooked ever
it's
since.
mostly me. I freaking love them now. There was a shit ton of pictures of deer in there that one year. That was that year my dad shot that one buck, decent buck.
And Billy was hanging out in there.
Yeah,
Daylight.
daylight, a lot of daylight pictures of them in there in like October and during the rut.
Yeah. Do you guys try to change up other spots what you plant? Like, do you plant corn and beans in the same spots pretty much every year? Do you ever rotate them into like a fall kill plot mix or anything?
We like kind of in the same plots we do. Well, the big one, we pretty much only have one big one. We just change the corn and beans
Just
around in it all the
rotate those.
time.
Yeah.
And the other ones, unless they're like a perennial clover, we change those ones up too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have your designated kill or fall plots and then
Yep.
where your crops go.
I think this checkmate right here. No, it's the other one.
Oh, the
Tombstone.
turnips.
Tombstone's got clover in it too, so I like to plant this one in the fall, and it says it's got clover in it too, but I like to, like if you got a quarter acre, I'd overseed it with like a half an acre worth of seed of clover, just going in there over top afterwards. And in the spring, that clover comes up so good. I just got to remember to spray it right away before I mow it and everything, because then, man.
We did make a brand new plot in the woods, like above our Little Woods pond,
Yep.
like where it's kind of just grass and wasted space almost. So I went and mowed and Cole sprayed it. We're going to plant that with clover here.
With
real
that
soon.
lady luck.
Yep.
I don't know if it's going to grow great because it's in
a
the
little
woods,
later
but
now,
it's getting later. It's in the woods, but maybe we'll have to frost seed it if it doesn't grow great.
Yeah.
I think clover will come back anyways.
Yeah, the next year it will,
Yeah.
for sure. That's why I like it so much, especially planting in the fall compared to anything else.
Can't
like-
really mess it up.
No, I feel like when you do it in the spring, you got to do it with like a oats or like rye too, to help it come up, and hopefully the deer don't eat it all off right away
Yeah.
too. Well, that's another reason why I plant it, because during the season the clover will come back, and You got those little kill plots so you don't want them all mauled out by all the deer before the season even starts. But yeah. What about you guys? You guys done any fall food plotting over on your guys?
Yeah, we're getting more in. Well, this weekend is the plan, but yeah, last Sunday right before the rain, we got some rack fuel in. I know we went with the Tombstone mix this year just because it was new and kind of had a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
However, I still don't know what I'm going to do next year as far as I know you've had awesome luck with the frost seeding, and there's already clover inside the mix, but also had really good luck with the radishes in general.
Yep.
There was one year my grandpa's, he planted radishes strictly the whole field just for farming
That
purposes.
was a long time ago, isn't it?
Yeah, to compact the soil, and we
nitrogen
saw
in there.
so many deer that year. So
Well, he
wanna
had
continue to
radishes
get-
that were
yeah. Oh, we took some pictures of
Yeah.
them. I think the root was a foot
Yeah.
long, and the plant in general was
they were
it
nuts.
was huge. But so then it's going to be tough to decide next spring. Yeah, we want to frost seed some clover again, but then you're not going to rip up your clover just to plant some radishes. So we're going to try to pick and choose where we want what crop and see what they like most, and just kind of troubleshoot it that way and try to decide what direction to go going forward.
Did your stuff ever come up that you frost seeded this year?
Yeah, it did. It did. I wish I would have seeded it a little bit heavier. It was definitely patchy, and I kind of expected that a little bit.
Yeah,
I,
just spread it.
right away where I opened all the seed and stuff, I spilled some seed, and you can tell where I spilled the seed. It
Yeah.
looks awesome.
Well, that's why I said you go through it and you double the rate when you do it like that too,
yes,
because
you
then
should.
it comes up really lush.
You
just like
should.
that,
So, but I did it to 2 plots, and the smaller one that got seeded probably a little bit heavier looks unreal. We're not going to touch that one. We only mowed it, and it looks as good as it can look. And then the next one, it was so in areas, but we decided to go with it and top seeded again, and hoping with all the rain that we've had this year, we're going to get the clover that's already there, and then maybe some new seeding come
Bud up,
September, October.
That one that's looking mint, does it have the white flowers growing up on it and everything? Or is it just the clover?
Well, I didn't really realize how good it was until we mowed it. So at that point,
Oh,
the
it
flower
makes
was
sense.
gone. But
yeah.
you mowed it, and you looked what was left, and it was there. It was solid. And
Yeah.
right now, there's so much for them to eat out there, But
Yeah.
when it comes and the beans turn yellow and
Oh,
things
yeah.
like that, I think those spots are going to be.
Mid
Gonna
to
be
late
money.
September.
And there's a big one in there that I hope transitions off of where
Finds
you've
it.
been seeing them.
Yeah.
And kind of goes into the clover there, because that's what we've got. We've got some kill plots close to their bedroom that we'll see if it works out. But
Are you
I
guys
think
going to try and
the
mow it
cards are in there.
before the season again? Or
Yeah, I think the plan is to probably mow it in a week or so. So come, mid-September, early October, that stuff's looking pretty fresh. Maybe even more in a week.
Yeah.
Late August, so it's
I
coming.
try
up
to
at a good
plan
time.
around like
Try to
a
time it
week
on
or
a
two before the season.
And this is kind of piggybacking off of Drury's, because they do this as well. But when you do mow the clover, they always say mow it next to a rain if you can, and don't mow it too short. But
Yeah.
everything depends on the summer and where you're at too. I know they've been dealing with
I think you always
Some
just
heavy
try to
droughts
aim to just
down
clip
in
the
Iowa.
tops, basically.
Pretty much. Yeah.
cut the weeds down around it and let everything restart.
It's
So,
crazy what just mowing it will do for the weeds around it too.
I was just
I
going to
just-
say that.
yeah.
The weeds, it's like it's no weeds at all after.
Yeah.
levels the playing field.
Yeah.
And then
I
the
just went
clover
around and
takes off.
sprayed a bunch of them today with clethodim and hellfire too. I think there's only 10 ounces an acre of clethodim and 4 ounces an acre of hellfire and
Clethodim.
clethodim.
That, you'll have to. What is that? Is that like?
I was going to say,
Is that like?
you have to
Is that like,
educate
It's
us.
just for grasses.
Is that
The
like-
grasses that grow up in the
is that
clover.
like old Milwaukee do a deer hunting camp, or what is that?
Well, that's what Johnny Walker. Well, I told him, I'm like, yeah, I think we're gonna need to spray some clethodim here. He's like, yeah, I don't know about that one. I never heard that one before. Let me talk to someone. Then I go to him the next day to go talk to him and pick it up. He's like, yeah, here's what the doctor ordered or whatever, and it was
Yeah.
clethodim. I was like, yeah, okay.
All right, I gotta sharpen up in my planning terms.
Well, they got different terms and stuff too. They got the glyphosate that we all bought this year. Was
some type of
Buccaneer.
fertilizer, obviously,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Or-
Well, that hellfire too, that helps a lot because it sticks to the plant and kills it a little quicker too. Pretty sure. Don't quote me on that, but
Pretty sure.
that's what
Quoted.
that's what I've heard.
Oh,
But
it's
2 at
Halloween,
once, bro.
dude.
Come on.
Wrong button.
We were talking about that giant a little bit. Should we get into that giant a little bit?
Let's
Talk
do
about
it.
big bucks.
Let's do it. Every big buck we talk about, I don't kill. So let's have another.
So
That's why I
don't
brought
talk about
That's
it.
why I brought it up. Should we or shouldn't we?
Yeah,
Top
let's do
secret.
it.
Gotta speak it into existence. Come on.
Cat's out of the bag already.
We,
How pissed are you gonna be when your brother shoots it? That's
Ooh.
hey, that's at least closer than who
at
has
least
been
better
shooting.
than the neighbors.
Closer than what has been shooting them. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, luckily, we just got cameras out Sunday. Or no, this Saturday, and we had a picture of him on Sunday. And it was a buck that we kind of knew was in the general area. We didn't know who he was necessarily because he grew so damn much.
Yeah.
It's like now looking back at pictures, we were finally able to put a finger to it. But
Yeah.
when we first saw him, you're like, who the hell is
Thank
this?
God Tanner went over there and saw him with his phone.
Yeah, he saw him with his phone. He's like, dude, there's a giant.
And he
I'm like,
looked huge, even
like, how big is he, man? And then, of course, he's taking a picture at 80, 100 yards
Zoomed
with
in.
an iPhone. And like, that doesn't cut it. So we
Yeah.
went, it was no more than a couple of days later, me and
Yeah.
Mitch went for a ride, and we saw him, luckily, in the first
that was late that night too. That was after 9 o'clock.
we drove by there, didn't see him. We're like, oh, shoot, we'll
Drove by there 3 times.
make a loop. And then finally the last time he was out, and then we were able to get some nice footage of him. And, you know, you could tell he was going to be special then. And then
Yeah.
2 weeks go by, or 12, 13 days, close to 2 weeks. And then, of course, we get our cameras out now, and 24 hours later, he shows up. And what I thought he was going to put on an inch and a half on those tines and still be a stud, you know, maybe pushing 70s. And his tine stretched out, I mean, substantially in a matter of 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
with that tine length now that he threw on there, I think there's, in my opinion, no question he's going to sneak to 80, but it'll be close. And
Upper.
really, I don't care. He would be the biggest buck I've ever shot. So
Yeah. He's a giant.
he's
He's
one
got
down
character for days too.
It's August and I'm already losing sleep, so it's not going to be. It's
Checking
going to be.
those
It's going to be a
cans.
long season, but
Sound like me
hopefully
2
we
years
can get
ago.
some more cameras out, get a better idea. And to be honest, there's actually a couple other deer on that same property that
Should
I
be
was
studs.
I was actually more excited to see going into this year
Mm-hmm.
than him, but he happened to have just the right, all the right things
You're
happen.
gonna have too many
threw
here.
up.
Don't pull a Mr. Heavy again.
Oh, jeez.
Every year you take something with you, you learn a little bit. And, sooner or later, it works out in your favor.
That was a nice,
That's my story. I'm
nice
sticking
little
to
rhyme.
it. Who knows?
It's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Sounding like a therapist there. But
So he's probably
I might need one after this year if it doesn't work. But we'll
probably
see.
a giant 4.5-year-old then.
Yeah, I go back and forth on
Really?
that number. I don't know if he's 4.5
That's my
or
guess.
5.5.
He's a shooter
I
now.
would,
How much
I would
do you-
believe either
Yeah.
one.
How much do you think you
And like
put
you
on
said, I
from
maybe
last
don't
year?
care.
We broke off that brow tine.
With the route time, I still think he's pushing 40 inches he threw on.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
So, and obviously, realistically, they're not all going to do that. But you've got a couple of stud bucks on your farms too, that if they throw on 40 inches, you're sitting right there in that 180 range. And I know there's a couple that I haven't seen that I'm excited to see that I expect to take big jumps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why tomorrow night we're getting cameras out, and Saturday we're getting cameras out. And
Big weekend.
we're not, yeah,
Can't
we're
wait
I
to
think
wake
it
up
is
every
gonna
morning
be a-
to Dustin. Boys. Eye emoji.
boys.
Boys. I can't wait to see Y2K though.
Yeah, he's going to be a special one, I think, too. Hopefully he made it. He's one of those deer that we didn't know that got killed. Talked to most of the neighbors. Nobody got him, but I mean, we run very few cameras after season, but I never did have a late season picture of him either to get that confirmation. But I'm confident he'll be
When did you
around.
take your cameras down?
Well, it's a mix between when did the batteries die and when did we take them down. But
Not technically
had a
taken down by
yeah,
themselves.
I had a couple of cameras running through Christmas time, but
That's still
at that time
long
they're
time.
in spots. It's hard to get in there and pull them, transition them out of rut spots onto a winter food source. So the pictures we're getting, they're not in the greatest of spots.
So do you have all of your, when you get so you got all cutty backs, when you get a picture, do you save like all of them or do you go back through they take SD cards too?
Yep, they take SD cards, and I get them in an email format right now. So I do still save them, press download every time they get them. So
Do you guys go through those cards and save all the files after the season too?
after the season, we don't necessarily. We try to erase everything because you got to get new firmware and every card. It's a pain in the ass. But all the bucks that we do have, I save.
cam.
I mean, anything that's 3 years old or better, I try to save just
So you probably got a good library on your phone.
just in case that somebody blows up and you can try to figure out what they were doing last year. But
I got all
it's
of my.
tough.
Well, I go through at the end of the year and I take all my chips from my tact cams and I dump all the bucks that were 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever all into a folder, and then I put it on Google Drive so I don't lose them from there too. And then it's just nice to go back every year and kind of look, because like that buck this year, it'd be nice to go back and see where he was last year at what time of the year.
Yeah, and like I said, I try to save most of them that are good. But he was around. The funny thing is, looking back, I think we got more pictures of him during the rut than we did any other time. Which,
And he's
granted,
right
yes,
there
it's
right
a
now,
great
too.
time to kill him. But now he's kind of there earlier. Which, hey, that's basically as good as it gets.
Those are
Hopefully
the
he
spots
sticks
that you
around.
had him to. Was closer where you're.
Within, yes. I mean, within a couple of 100 yards. Yeah, he's not on the same cameras necessarily, but he's on the same farm. The farms.
Yeah. Damn.
And you guys shut it into the place. It's kind of open, but yet there's some wood patches. I love the place.
That's
it's a cool place.
That kind of country is growing on me more and more.
I wish
That's
More open.
be cool to call it mine.
just
one
the
day,
old
but
cattle pasture
Yeah.
and oh man.
grown up, overgrown
Look at
cattle
that one
pastures. They're
that
just
giant he saw last year laying there. That was
mhm.
pretty cool too. That one's dead, right?
He did die, unfortunately. Yep.
R.I.P.
Yeah. And the other mega.
Yeah.
Damn.
So who knows? But this year's exciting. So
Yeah.
it's August
Big
8th,
time.
and we're still sitting on too many cameras. I know that, especially after having pictures of that giant. So
Too many cameras that are sitting on the kitchen table still.
it's time
That's
to
probably
go.
when about most people start
It's time to
thinking
go.
about, though. I mean,
Time
Yeah.
to go drop some couple $100 in batteries, and
Yeah.
let's hit the woods.
Trust me. I've been spending a lot on batteries lately. But that Menard, did you see the
Yeah, I was gonna
Instagram
say,
story,
you're
dude?
sending out,
$11, dude. It's for 24.
sending out stats. Oh my God, run to Menards.
Should we
yeah,
tell John Miller we need a sponsorship.
Well, dude, I was in
Bowmore.
Did you see he cut his finger today?
on that
They
broadhead.
do it on
dude.
purpose.
I'm sure he did.
Dude, I was
Oh,
gonna
I
say the
would,
same thing.
These broadheads.
Bowmore's out cutting fingers off done just for likes now.
The guy starts his truck
First
on
the truck,
fire,
now the finger, dude.
and then he's cutting his hand off. What do we got to do to get some more?
It's as big as a
viewerships?
die
What about
hard I've
that?
ever seen.
What about that water hole, too? He dug that thing 8 feet deep.
I hope he doesn't see this. He's gonna beat all of our asses.
Love you. Just kidding.
Weights don't fight back. Remember that.
Oh,
Jeez.
damn.
Anyways,
Weights don't fight back. So
that's old football coach quote. You got those guys look like Tarzan, play like Jane. That's another
I
quote.
like that.
speaking of football coaches, I was at Joe's shop quick the other day gassing up and saw Coach Brenner walk over.
nice.
He's like, "Where you at practice today? I need you back there at DB." I was like, "Coach, that was 10 years ago, bro."
You can
Crazy.
coach or something, right?
Oh,
No.
that's funny.
Guy's a good guy though. He helps. He's all football helps the program.
Coach, I'm just chasing bucks now, dude.
yeah.
Well, we were talking about the rut earlier. I feel like August is like the velvet rut.
Oh, agree.
Like
It's
when you
so
get
fun.
bucks showing up out of nowhere that you haven't seen all summer, it's just boom, there they are. Just like
The nice thing about now is when they do show up, you know exactly what they are. Yeah, sure,
they're
you might lose
full-grown.
a little bit on velvet, but they're full grown. There's no questioning. Oh, hey, what's he gonna be? Or geez, he's got a big frame. Could he do this? Could he do that? No, you know what he is.
Yep. I mean, you got those resident bucks that you feel like barely move 50 yards throughout the day. Then you got random ones during the summer that all of a sudden appear out of nowhere.
Yeah, last year
crazy.
you had that one where you videotape him a half mile and then get
Yeah.
a picture of him a week later.
Yeah, and then he got shot late October too. Yeah, the neighbors shot him, and I think we talked about this
Guys
already.
clocking out.
Shot him late October, and he's like, "Yeah, I shot a 10-pointer or 13-pointer. I didn't tell you." I'm like, "No, you tried to send me a picture, but it never sent or whatever.
Oh,
And then he sent one a month later. I was like, I knew it was him too. Damn. That buck was so nice. Yeah, he was like a half mile away. I'd get a picture of him here. Then I filmed him another night over here. Then he went across the road, and Glenn got him on camera, and then got shot up on the bluff. Yikes.
That's just the worst part about summer, too, is, I mean, we don't get it often because we don't put cameras out real early, but, yeah, you get one buck. You're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Night after night, and then you're like, oh, I know it's coming.
We got
I
that
know it's coming.
we got that
Velvet.
picture of that one buck, that 3-year-old. Just immediately, I got a text from Cole at 6 a.m. just of the eyes like this. I was like, oh, must have got a picture of a buck.
There's nothing better.
I mean, it gets you a little jazzed up when you look at forks the whole time.
Yeah, dude. Before that picture, it was like nothing but fork horns. It's like, holy shit, it might be a long year.
Yeah. Well, so who's the target bucks for this year then, if they're still around?
Snuffy and Ray Finkel and do we have a name for that town?
Herbie Hancock.
Herbie, yeah.
Whoa.
And then Wemby. I want to see Wemby
Dude,
so
Wemby
bad.
is not even. Wemby might be
I don't know.
3
There's-
this year, dude.
There's something about that deer that just
I
gets
think-
me excited.
Dude, I think he was a mega 2-year-old last
oh,
year.
How
man.
did Wemby get his name where his Tine's 8 feet tall?
Just a
what-
superstar.
He's just got long
Because he's
beans.
a young stud called named him Wemby.
Yeah.
I was all right with it.
I would name him Anthony
I'm all right.
Edwards myself.
Oh.
Oh,
And
Homer.
Homer.
I don't know. I want to see that deer. I mean, even if he was a 2-year-old last year, it's just like one, 6x5. It's like,
He was
yeah.
outside his
And
years.
You're quite confident he made it?
Yeah, we had a picture of him. I mean, that little cold snap.
after gun season, don't we?
That's pretty
It had to be
promising.
January. When
Is-
was
If
it?
a
seem
deer
to be-
makes it past gun season without being wounded, I'm usually pretty
Feel
confident,
confident. Yeah.
they're gonna survive. But
Yeah.
I
never
did
know.
have one
I used to
early
be
season
pretty
picture.
confident until a couple years ago. I had a story, but it's too close to home, so I don't want to drop any names.
That's crazy.
Was it January 4th? Yeah, something like that. The last day.
you talking about Christmas?
No, that's a different story. But
Which one?
we had
That's
a
my
really-
story. dude.
on one of the leases that we used to have. We had a really nice 10-pointer that we were letting go and ended up getting popped.
In
But-
January, huh?
Things happen. That's how it goes.
Rednecks. Redneck blinds.
Redneck. Yeah.
A little heater. Buddy. So, who's your main targets this year then, besides... What are you going to name? Are you going to name him Trump since he had an ear missing then?
Yeah. Last year he was. Named,
Oh, that's incredible.
last year he was named. We had him named Lefty because his right side was a little weak
Makes
and
sense.
goofy. But this year, what he grew into, the name doesn't fit anymore. And
It
he
was
didn't-
his left side was pretty goofy. I wonder if he shed wrong the year before or something.
odd, yeah, but it was good. But yeah, and last year we also never noticed the
Sticker.
hole in the ear, the chip in the
Oh,
ear.
yeah.
You're talking about that giant, right? You named
Yeah.
him Lefty last year.
Last year his name was Lefty, but at the
Okay.
same time he was one of those bucks
thought
that
it
just
was,
kind of
uh,
showed up. He wasn't
I thought that was Y2K. No,
no. You can see here.
Well, he had really nice brows last year.
dude,
too.
I cannot keep you guys' deer straight at all.
Definitely not.
But he's got a hole in his ear, and shortly after Trump, got his ear notched. I think
when we were
Trump
out looking
Notched.
for deer that night, we were like,
Jeez.
I think I know his name.
yeah, so call him Trump.
God.
Call him
Look at
Prez.
that. You can see the bean leaves right in his mouth right there too.
Yeah, that's such a pretty picture. But
I'm getting that one framed.
yeah,
Maybe
that's
I'll
a
have
good
another
one.
picture with it.
Yep. But yeah, no, he's gonna be a target for sure. And like I said, there's actually a handful of others that I expect to be
Uno
up
Mas.
there with him. Uno Mas is a buck that
Huge frame.
huge frame. And Quinn, if you're listening on your dad's place there, that buck's gonna be special this year, I think. So
What's up, Quinn?
He's behind the barn, Quinn.
yeah. So he was one. Obviously, the name last year got his name because he was a
Quinn-
good one.
Quinn's
last
got to
year.
get that rifle dialed in, doesn't he?
Yeah.
No, I heard
But,
he just bought a bow. He's starting out this year.
Yeah, I
Really?
told him how much not fun bow hunting is. So. But no, it's going to be a hell of a deer. And I know that one I do know made it. I had pictures of him through Christmas, and he's got the potential to make a huge jump. He's got a couple of kickers. He's tall. He's got basically everything a guy could want, and looks like, you know,
Everything a guy could want. Is it a girl or a deer?
no. He looks to be the part of a giant in the making. So we'll see. And I put a camera up kind of for him right now, but it's with the crop rotation, it's in the wrong spot. I've had maybe a deer and a half a day, honestly, on that spot. But there's some new hay fields down closer to the would be to the west. So I'm gonna try to put out a few more cameras, because
That one 4 this year? 3?
I want to say he's going to be 4 or 5. He's no younger than 4. No older than 5. I think he's going to be a big 4-year-old, to be honest with you. Which, kind of what I'm going at. Yeah, 5 is a perfect number, but around here, right now, my thing is 160 or 5.5, and it's hard enough to get him that. So,
Man, to get him to 5.5, yeah.
I'm just trying to not shoot a 3-year-old, dude. So I'll kill a 4-year-old every day.
yeah.
Well, you got one last year.
Yeah.
I would put my left nut on it.
For Iowa, yeah, that's
And he can put both of his nuts on.
and you're putting yeah, and obviously you had one tag 1 year and you're hunting public land. That sure helps. But
And I was out of vacation days. So
my deal here too, I obviously didn't draw for Iowa this year. You did. We both had 5 points, and then with the year we've had and the buck that just showed up, I'm not necessarily kicking myself in the
Now you got to
ass just
kickstart
yet.
to start saving for next year too.
Now it's time to start saving, and hopefully my goal is shoot that big one early season, right? And then I got 10 days of rut vacation. I can go help out, and
That'd be sick.
dude,
enjoy some time in the woods.
I was gonna have deer camp.
last
No, I'm gonna be by
or
myself.
I can be filming you.
remember
Exactly.
last
It's
year
gonna
we
be a-
had Iowa tags, but we were all nervous because freaking Ray
weather.
Finkel was
Ray Finkel
around.
showed up.
Yeah.
Do you have that situation? I'm sure you do, don't you? Do you have a giant that you're...
The only one I was really, really hoping to see this year was Mr. Krabs in the Modena last year that I saw late season multiple times.
He's the buck that you had on your Instagram story, right? When you sent that, there was a reel where it's a couple of seconds, but he was bedded when you were walking in.
He was
Yeah.
bedded, yeah.
Yeah, that was
Bedded by the
giant.
blind. Yeah. I don't think he's with us anymore, but we'll find out. Hopefully, like Ray, he'll just magically appear and be like, holy shit, look at that. No 180s around.
So you're plenty happy with your the year you got your golden Iowa tag ticket,
I
right?
got the golden ticket.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Suppose
the
you can
plan
never
is
be mad, but
Yeah.
it's also
Plenty of
early.
time though.
Yeah, plenty of time for one to show up that
September.
exploded from last year. which-
September's the time.
yeah. I think there probably will be because there was a couple at the home farm last year that were really nice that still waiting to see if they'll be around. But they normally don't show up for a while yet anyway because my dad's buck didn't even show up till maybe October 16th last year, and he shot it like the 22nd, I think. But
That was
yeah.
pretty awesome.
Yeah. But other than that, my goal this year is 5.5. If he's 5.5, he's probably going to get narrow in him. I'm not really looking at anything, holding out for anything rack wise. That's my goal, and I'm sticking to it.
For up here and Iowa?
Iowa might be a little different story. I might be holding out for a pretty big one down there.
There you go.
Yep. But it all depends. If you see like that one that you were looking at, if you see that one day 8 when you're down there,
Yeah.
like a 6.5-year-old 6-7 pointer, just a huge frame, you might get got.
If you see an old one that's got some character to it, yeah, definitely kill it.
Damon probably was saying to let him go, but
Damon doesn't know what he's
That
talking
6
about.
We need to find the footage of that hunt because that deer was so awesome.
Dude, I'm still
And it
mad
came
at
to 10
Damon.
yards.
that was on
Did
public
it?
too,
No
wasn't it?
way. It came to 10 yards
Yeah,
at
it was
6?
right underneath us. And then that's how it almost spooked because it was 9:30, 10 o'clock. Well, actually it was 10:30, 11 o'clock. And we were
About to get
basically
down.
saying, hey, let's get down, trying to figure out if we're going to go to Subway or Hardee's at lunch. And we're playing in
Subway.
the grunt tube and smacking
I
the
was gonna
horns
say,
together.
weren't you just messing around with the grunt
Just
tube or whatever?
smashing the horns.
Oh, I can't
Kinda
wait to do
laughing.
that this year.
And then all of a sudden it's like, you know, the sound we hear, you're like, holy shit, there's a buck right here. And it was a stud 6, and he was in her life and out of her life very soon. But it was a cool deer.
feel like
awesome
there's
encounter.
a 0% chance I don't shoot that deer. That thing
Big
is so
bases,
awesome.
huge
So
brows.
sweet.
That was a crazy cool
And
buck.
Damon does regret it, as he should. But it was
As he should.
the only thing I heard out of his mouth at the time was, he's only got 6 points. And it was early enough. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. They got cameras rolling down there. I was joined in on the tact cam, so I've seen some giants. So that gets me pretty excited. Probably going to go down there in the next maybe week or 2 weeks and put some more cameras out. I think I'm going to buy a couple more tact cams to put out there. But I'm going to put them out in like more like September, October spots, maybe
Scrape
some
spots.
scrapes in
I
the
think it's a good
woods
idea.
off the field edge, because what are you going to do? You got to pull all the mineral and bait or whatever by season anyway. Or you got
How are you
cover it
gonna hunt down there? You gonna go the multiple weeks, or are you gonna go just 1 week
The
long?
way it's
or-
panning out now, I might be down there for opener. I might be
October 1st.
shooting a wedding in Kansas right before that.
There you go.
So then after that,
Wedding in Kansas. How'd you
Sneak right up
end
there.
up with that one?
Brian Lemke, actually,
Okay.
he had something come up where he had to go film somewhere or something. He was going to shoot it for one of his friends' daughters, I think. Then he texted me the other day and got hooked up with them, and
Nice.
hopefully that'll be a breeze of a wedding. They own Wicked Outfitters or something like that in Kansas, I think it's called.
Okay.
So we'll be staying at their lodge too, a sweet lodge. Maybe work something out hunting wise too, so I can come back to Kansas in a couple of years. We'll find out. But yeah,
Be dumb if you wouldn't.
yeah, I'm excited for the season. Chomping at the bit. Every Tacticam notification I get, it's like a ritual already. Wake
I
up in the
know.
morning,
Yeah.
just every single.
My wife Mariah's already complaining. She'll see me up 2:00 checking my phone, and we've only got cameras on one property right now. But there happens to be a 180-inch deer there. But
Yeah.
Wake
you
up
got
with the
another one to
baby in
put
the
out.
middle of the night. You're like, I need that phone to see if there's any.
No, the other
Dustin,
night,
keep it on your charger.
the other night I was up at 3:30, and then 3:45. Ryland's crying, and at that time, of course, I was back asleep. But take over, great. You're just up for how long? Yeah, honey, but there's no big ones on the camera. I know I got another 2 hours before I check my notifications again. It's a battle.
Well, boys, it's been great to get back together and talk about
Yeah.
deer hunting. I've been chomping at the bit to do it.
Yeah, a lot more to talk about too. Each week we're going to be getting more food plots in, more bucks are going to be showing up. It's
Oh, yeah.
an
Talk about the
exciting time of year.
progressions. Yeah.
Very exciting. So
When did we start last year? I think it was like October or something.
well
Yeah,
I was
after
gonna
this.
say,
So.
yeah.
It's good to start talking about our hit listers, and maybe we'll have a call your shot episode where you think about which buck maybe you're going to shoot, because we used to do that
We
every
used to
year.
do
Oh, yeah.
predictions
Yeah.
every year.
Don't you still have them? I think
I think I still have them on my notes.
we probably
Let's,
never got one right, did we?
Never came
think
through on those.
Maybe close a couple times, but
No, not
different people
myself.
shot them.
Let's get the let's get the full fleet of bucks though first. So
Yeah.
give that one a couple of weeks so we can see who's around. And
Yeah. Have a couple more
Start
show
having
up
some
during the
fun.
Velvet Rut right now, and
so
who knows?
any questions too for next week? Just shoot us a message there on the
Yeah.
on the Instagram or whatever. We can cover
Yep.
those. So
On the Instagram DMs.
give us something to talk about other
Facebook.
than Jake's love life. Yeah, I'm sure you don't want to hear
We
that.
actually might have a guest on
That's
soon
it.
too. I just talked to Jeff Miller. He wants to come on the pod and talk about big bucks, so
Oh, yeah.
might be seeing his
Learn a
face
thing or
soon
two.
too. Yeah, might learn a thing or two about shields and everything to do with hunting. So we'll see you on the next one.